Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video of the Osmoth. Today, we're going to be talking about the new release of the Prince Eugen, which is the first ever premium ship of the Naval 1945. And to be honest, she has extremely heavy AP. Very heavy AP. If you get Citadel on a battleship or heavy cruiser or whatnot, you're going to be doing a ridiculous amount of Citadel damage. So let's look at her stats. So her maximum pen is 310 millimeters, which is reasonably good for 203s. And we're going to be comparing her 203s to did you use have 203s? Yeah, to these ones, which have slightly better pen. And she is tier 7, which is a bit odd. Uh, you know, I just find that a bit weird. Her belt armor is quite mediocre at 80 millimeters. Her deck armor is at 50, which means that she's gonna probably bounce quite a bit. She has an extremely strong bow. Very, very, very hard to pen her bow. But her HE shells are extremely good. Very, very good HE shells. Basically, she appears to, when I first played her, I used the AP first. The AP was alright. The AP seems to suffer at angles more than, normal American or Japanese AP. But the HE hits like a truck. It's very, very good HE. And I think that this is going to be a HE starter. This is just going to fling nothing but HE. If you do get those juicy broadsides and you fight AP, you're going to do a ridiculous amount of damage. Which is, very good. The AP, again, is very good. The HE is alright. It's not bad. It's better than I thought it would be. Now, the downside is her torpedoes are incredibly slow. It says that there's 60 knots, but there's no way that these are 60 knot torpedoes. They are very, very slow torpedoes. And they reload in 30 seconds, which maximum range is 5 kilometers. I think that people will not be using torpedoes as much. 5 kilometers is basically meaningless. They do hit for an absolute truckload. And they reload in 30 seconds. That's what I'm worried about. 30-second reload. 60 knots. AA. This is where I kinda don't agree with this. She has dual purpose secondary guns, but all of her secondary guns either change from AA or secondaries. If you change your secondaries to AA, you have literally 0 secondaries, which is a huge disadvantage for this. Because she's a heavy cruiser, she's kind of like a pocket battle cruiser in a way. She, 80 millimeters of belt armor, it's a bit low. I would expect at least 110. Because, she is like a heavy cruiser. She doesn't have battleship guns, but, she was considered as to be, one of the scariest heavy cruisers ever designed. So she does have a few AA and whatnot, but honestly, don't rely on her AA. Just seriously, do not rely on her AA. It's not gonna do much. Her secondaries are reasonably good. They do fire. They can fire AP or HE. The dispersion is fantastic on them. The reload is absolutely godlike. The range is a bit near, but she is a heavy cruiser. The penetration again is a bit near. The damage is alright. The shell velocity is alright. And if we look at the actual anti-air guns, fuck. We can see that the dispersion is insanely good, but because for anti-air guns, it's not really that spectacular. The range is godlike. The penetration's alright. The muzzle velocity is fantastic. The reload is absolutely amazing, but the damage is quite poor. So don't expect to shoot many planes down. If they had like a 0.5 second reload, then yeah, I would probably say her AA is pretty good. But because it's got a 1 second reload, yeah, I don't know. So torpedoes are mediocre. AA power is mediocre. But she makes up for that with extremely good primary weapons. Very, very good primary weapons. And pretty decent armor. There is one big drawback. If you angle like this, you get smashed through your bow armor. It doesn't matter what caliber gun it is. I think it might be a bug, but if you angle like this, you get citadels. It over and over and over again. When I first played this, I was fighting against another Prince Eugen, and he was just smashing me every time because I was doing this to try and bait him into shooting my bow armor. Every time the armor was about here and I started turning again, he would fire, pen this, and just smash me right into the citadel. Also broadside, the armor's complete garbage. It's terrible armor. It's not gonna stop much. I thought the turtleback would at least do something, but obviously the turtleback does jack crap. It does absolutely nothing. And I'm really disappointed in the armor layout. I'm honestly really disappointed. I know that they can't model turtleback armor, but they could have at least given a better armor than your traditional heavy cruiser. Because if I'm correct, if you look at this one, it has 127 millimeters. So yeah, I don't know what exactly is up with this. Also, this will cost you quite a bit of gold. It will cost you 1,250 gold, which is a reasonably pricey price. But I thought, you'd probably get early access to the tech tree, but obviously you don't, which is a bit disappointing. But 1,250 gold for Tier 7 Premium. It is a heavy cruiser, so Tier 7 Premium battleship will probably be 1,500 gold and whatnot. But honestly, first thoughts on her, bit disappointed. I'm a bit disappointed in her, really. No, I was not expecting her to be completely overpowered, but she's just got too many things wrong with her. Her torpedoes are practically useless. Her AA is mediocre. Her armor is absolute garbage. She's reasonably quick. She turns pretty alright, but other than that, there's nothing special about her. Is she worth 1,250 gold? Not really, no. I wouldn't recommend her. Um, it's kind of a total waste, really. You might as well just wait until the German line comes out, um, or until they probably give her a buff of some sort or whatnot. Because I was expecting her armor to be at least, workable, and it's just not. It's just not. Like, even if you angle your bow, you just get smashed right into your citadel. And that's terrible. It's just terrible. You can't really play this thing at all. Um, it's even worse through the stern. If you're trying to run away, people can just smash right through your armor and just right into your citadel. Um, which is annoying. Really, really annoying. And the limited range on the torpedoes is frustrating. Um, and there's no way that these torpedoes do 60 knots. No way torpedoes do 60 knots. The if we go to the Japanese, if we go to the Fubuki, these do 62 knots, and they seem to be so much quicker. Yeah, if we go to the Hachimaru, sorry if I butchered that name, but 62 knots, 15 kilometers, and yet you come to this thing, and it's just like I can see what they tried to do. I can see what they tried to do. They tried to make her as like this kind of sniping heavy cruiser, but it just has not worked out because people want to use this thing to be a brawler, not to be a sniper. That's what she was designed in real life. That's why she had a turtleback, because it was to brawl, not to snipe. And in this game, she just completely fails at it completely. Her armor is absolutely trash. Her torpedoes are disappointing. Um, Her secondaries are alright. Her AA power is mediocre. Um, the AP from her main guns, it's alright, but it ricochets a lot off some pretty silly angles. Her HE seems to be a bit too strong, which is the only really good thing about the ship. The camouflage is really nice. I do like the camouflage, but overall, it's not worth it. It really is not worth. It's not worth the gold. It just isn't. Um, I'm relatively disappointed in it actually. Just just wait until probably the Alaska comes out as a premium, hopefully. Hopefully, they don't, make her as a dev ship or, or otherwise that's gonna cause quite a bit of upset. I was expecting, Prince Eugen to be a tier 8, but because she's a tier 7, she's got too many downsides. Way too many downsides. Um, I don't know. I'm just relatively disappointed in her, really. I know they're 533 millimeter torpedoes and they hit like an absolute truck, but there's no way they do 60 knots. They're just too slow for 60 knots. I mean, going at full speed, it's I don't know. They just seem so slow. They seem so slow. And I just don't see the point. Also, the anti-submarine plane is completely useless. It just gets shot down. It just gets shot down every single time. It's completely and utterly useless. It's just a disappointing ship. It really is. They designed this ship to be a sniper, and it doesn't work. it just does not work um, as anything else besides a sniper. You know, in real life, she was designed with a turtleback. You know, a turtleback is designed to deflect shells, which, if somebody, shoots into the armor, a turtleback is designed to either lower the chance to pen or deflect the shell. And it doesn't do that. She gets smashed every single time. Every single time. And it's a total waste of 1,250 gold. Total waste. And I'm really disappointed. Probably really disappointed is a bit too harsh because her main guns are fantastic. Um, they are pretty good guns. You know, the pen is pretty good, and whatnot. And when you do Citadel like a heavy cruiser or maybe like a battleship, it really hurts. You really really hurt them. And when you do get the chance to use torpedoes, which is rare because you have to get within 5 kilometers, and at that range, you're just gonna die. It's suicide range basically. These are suicidal torpedoes. Um, and don't get the ship. It's terrible. Um, the only redeeming factor is the main guns. That's really the only redeeming factor. And the other kind of redeeming factor is the secondaries, but she's got so little secondaries, it doesn't really matter. I mean, they fire every 3 seconds, but they don't really do much. The arc on the shells is pretty poor. It's too flat. The fire chance is too low. They can barely pen anything. I don't know. I hope that they see this video and they at least give her stronger belt armor or they buff her secondaries or whatnot. Because if this is how they want to make the German line, I know that this isn't a German battleship, but I'm just using this as an analogy. Um, German battleships are meant to brawl. They are designed to brawl. And if they're going to make their guns to be sniper guns, well, then what's the point of using German battleships when you can just use American or Japanese battleships? Like, what's the point? What is the total point? Um, I'm honestly disappointed. The turtleback is meant to be 25 to 30 millimeters. I think it's meant to be 32 or 31 millimeter slope turtleback, which is meant to bounce like 406s and whatnot. So she shouldn't get citadeled by 356s or 406s or whatnot. But of course, 410s and 460mm guns will citadel her. But she just gets absolutely ass blasted by 8-inch guns, 10-inch guns. Of course, there's no 10-inch guns in the game, but you know what I mean. She just gets destroyed, and it's just not fun. It's almost like they haven't even modeled a turtleback at all, um, which is disappointing. But at the same time, I kind of understand why they probably haven't modeled the turtleback because they wanted to get this out as fast as possible. Because a lot of people have been asking for the German line, which is completely understandable. Completely understandable. But now I think the time has come that they've put her on sale, and everybody is giving their opinions. And honestly, she's just not worth the gold. Not at the moment. Not until they give her some kind of buff. Um, the only redeeming factor are the guns, and the guns are they're good, but they're not outstanding. Um, the secondaries are, they're all right. They do have fantastic range. For heavy cruiser, 6.8 kilometers. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know. The AA guns have 10 kilometers, which is ludicrously far. Um, but they do so little damage. So little damage. It's just meaningless. It really is. And there's just so little AA power here. Um, I don't know. Right now, if you like sniping with your heavy cruisers, then you could get her. But if you think, oh, let's get the Prince Eugen to brawl, you're gonna be really disappointed because she gets smashed by you know even 152 millimeter guns. Even a Cleveland can absolutely annihilate this thing. It's it's well, it just wants to make you laugh really by how bad the armor is. It's terrible. The armor is absolutely terrible. And I'm not blaming the developers too. I really am not. I'm not poking fingers or anything like that. They probably didn't have enough time to model an actual turtback. If so, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Um, but she just doesn't work as brawler. She really does not work as brawler. She just melts from sustained fire. Just absolutely melts. And 25,200 hit points. Uh, that is pretty high. 20,000, 22. Yeah, that is relatively high for tier 7. But still, I have they given her more HE because she's got terrible armor? Because if that's the case, then that's not enough. Because in the first battle that I played this ship, there's an enemy Eugen that I was fighting against, and there was Colorado on my team, and I think it was Tozer or Toiser or however you say it. Um, and their secondaries combined with my secondaries, he was dead within 45 seconds. That's how fast you will die from this thing. And the Tozer doesn't even have good secondary guns. The Colorado does now. I mean, the Colorado has an insane amount of secondary guns. Um, but honestly, don't get her. Just don't. Just honestly, don't get her. Um, so I don't know. I'm just disappointed in her. Um, I was expecting her to be this really good brawling heavy cruiser which can go around and use her fantastic AP and her really good armor, and go around with her, her good secondary guns and whatnot. And honestly, we've gotten the opposite. We've gotten a sniping heavy cruiser which, as soon as it goes up, it dies. Um, it can't take any sort of damage. It can't tank any damage. It can only really tank damage if you're completely bowing. If you're at an angle, even at this sort of an angle, you're going to get absolutely smashed through the bow. The bigger the caliber, the more chance they have to completely obliterate you. It's not fun. It's not fun gameplay. I did not enjoy it. I played for half an hour with this ship, um, and at the end, I hated it. I absolutely hated the gameplay because it forces you into this playstyle where you have to sit back and snipe and dodge and not take any damage. This ship was not designed for that. It was built with a turtleback so that, if it got into brawling situations, then it can take the damage and dish the damage out. And in this game, it just doesn't do that. It only dishes the damage out. It can't take the damage because her citadel seems to be the size of North America, which is stupid. You would expect that something from, like a Russian ship, not a German ship. It's meant to be a sleek, small citadel, and yet we've got a ship which just gets absolutely cake pied upon. Um, it's honestly, whoever's watching this video, don't get it. Just do not get this ship. Wait until the German battleship line comes out. I'll do a few on them and see how they play, and if they suffer from the same thing, then I don't know what the hell is going on. Because that's what the German speciality is having very thick armor with very good turtlebacks, very good secondaries, and it's disappointing that the Prince Eugen, which in real life had very good armor for her class, and a very strong turtleback, is a ghost in this game to what she is in real life. It is utter trash in this game. And I'm going to put it as that. I'm going to go as low as that. I'm not going to go any lower. But she's just terrible in this game. Terrible gameplay. It forces you into one style of gameplay, which is absolutely awful. I don't like it. Don't like it one bit. Other people might, but what we're gonna see for the next probably couple weeks is just nothing but Prince Eugen's just sitting at the back, just sniping, um, which is terrible. 16.5 kilometers range. Uh, I don't know. I mean, 16.5 kilometer range is really good range, and they have very good muzzle velocity. Um, and if I'm correct, they also have pretty good dispersion. That's really good dispersion. Um, 215 for 203 millimeter guns. It's not bad. That's, well, more than not bad. That's fantastic. But that's the only factor of this ship, is her main guns are good. Nothing else about the ship is good. The torpedoes are rubbish. The secondaries are rubbish. The AA is terrible. The armor is garbage. Nothing else about her is good. And it's just a terrible ship. It honestly is. And I'm now worried. Is the German line gonna be this terrible? I don't know. I can't answer that. I can't say, oh, yes, it will be. I can't, because I have not seen the statistics of uh, the German ships yet. I haven't. The only one I've seen is, of course, the Prince Eugen, which is a terrible ship. It is awful. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this video, give a thumbs down. put in the comment section, do you enjoy the Prince Eugen or do you not? Would you suggest the Prince Eugen? Um, you know, if you don't like the Prince Eugen, then tell me why in the comment section. If you enjoy the Prince Eugen, then tell me why in the comment section. Um, and how would you buff the Prince Eugen? I would give her more armor, and I would make her AA just a bit more stronger. Really, I'll give her a massive armor buff. Not extreme, but I'll probably make her armor up to about 140 millimeters on the belt armor. Um, and give her that turtle back. Because right now her armor is terrible. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.